You know when someone does something wrong, hurts you deeply, and then shows up with that sorry face and says, "I'm sorry, I'll change." Well, that's right. We want to believe so much that we end up falling into the worst emotional trap there is, accepting apologies without any change. And do you know what that leads to? Abusive cycle, disguised as a second chance. At first, it seems like everything will get better. The person even tries hard for a couple of days, sends you cute messages, changes their tone of voice, promises the world and more. But soon, very soon, they go back to doing exactly the same thing. And you catch yourself doubting one's own memory, thinking that maybe he had exaggerated, that maybe it was his fault. It wasn't. This type of behavior is a classic of emotional manipulation. The apology becomes a bargaining chip. The person messes up, asks for forgiveness with that rehearsed speech, and that's it. The cycle starts again. False excuses, empty promises, and the worst part, you start losing what is most valuable to you, your self-esteem and your sense of reality. It's a loop. The person makes a mistake, you forgive them. They promise to change, but they don't. You complain, they say they'll try again, and you accept it. Why? Because you have a good heart, because you believe in people, because you still love them, maybe all of these things together. But the truth is that accepting apologies without change is not forgiveness. It is self-abandonment. Have you ever noticed how toxic relationships does this always happen repeatedly? It's as if the blame always ends up falling on the lap of those who just wanted to be respected. Those who make mistakes apologize, but those who forgive without seeing change pay the highest price, the price of self-cancellation. And look, this doesn't just happen in romantic relationships. It can be friendships, family, co-workers, people who do things, undo things, hurt things, and then come back with a sorry hoping that everything will go back to normal. As if sorry had the power to erase the pain without needing any real transformation. And that's where the danger lies. Because while you accept, wait, and believe, the other person becomes complacent. After all, why change if you're still there? Why act differently if you always give another chance? The problem isn't the mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. The problem is when the mistake becomes routine, and the apology becomes automatic ritual. To maintain control, deep down, what hurts is not the mistake. What really hurts is realizing that the other person doesn't care about the impact of what he did. And that apology that seemed sincere was just a way of postponing the difficult conversation, of avoiding real change, keep you trapped in an emotional game where only one side loses. Have you ever been through this? Have you ever forgiven someone who promised you change and never followed through? Have you ever found yourself in this tiring dance of expectations and frustrations? Then stay until the end of this video, because what comes next will make you think twice before accepting an apology that doesn't come with action. After all, what's worth more, a nice sorry or a silent change? Let's be real. People who make mistakes know they made a mistake. People who hurt someone feel the weight of what they did right away. So why do these people insist on apologizing without changing anything at all? Because it's convenient. Because it's easy. Because they know that on the other side, there's someone who's emotionally tired, afraid of losing. Someone who would rather get hurt trying to save the bond than walk away to save their own sanity. The apology has become emotional currency. It becomes blackmail. And those who are used to repeat mistake and ask for forgiveness, you begin to realize how much you can be manipulated. You get sad, you cry, you threaten to leave. And all it takes is a "forgive me. I swear it will be different now" for everything to dissolve. On the outside, it looks like reconciliation. On the inside, it's emotional abandonment disguised as love. And that's where therapetition of eros forms a pattern. The person betrays you emotionally, treats you with disdain, lies, disappears, humiliates you, and then they give you the same old ready-made speech, cold, without depth, without transformation, just because they know you'll accept it. And that's it. Is cruel, because when you accept an empty sorry, you are also accepting that what hurts so much it doesn't matter that much. And over time, you start to internalize this idea. You start to treat yourself with the same disdain that the other person has been treating you with for a long time. That's when the relationship is no longer about two people. It's turned you against yourself. And all of this messes with your head. You start to think that you are too demanding, that you are being too hard, that you need to be more patient. But in reality, You are just trying to protect your heart from being broken the thousandth time by the same person. The problem was never that you were too sensitive. The problem is that someone makes you a constant target and still wants applause for apologizing later. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times you swallowed the pain just because the person swore they would change? How many times have you kept quiet so as not to seem radical? How many times have you held back your tears and carried on as if nothing had happened, just because someone gave you a dry and cowardly apology? It is at times like these that we need to ask ourselves, how many chances does a person deserve when they don't do anything with any of them? Those who love change, those who care, act, those who want to stay, build, and those who repeat the mistake. They are simply showing you, every day, who is real. What about you? Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever forgiven, expecting a change that never came? Have you ever felt guilty for demanding respect? Comment here. This is a space for venting. You can open your heart. You are not alone. Many people have been through or are still going through this and need to read what you have to say down. Take a deep breath, because here comes the truth that many people take a long time to accept. Accepting apologies without change is like trying to hide the truth with a sieve. You can even try to pretend that everything is fine, but the shadow of repetition will always be there, wide open. True change is not just pretty words. It is not a ready-made speech to deceive those who want to believe. It is a daily attitude, a silent effort that only those who truly love know how to recognize. And when a person really changes, they do not need to apologize all the time. They do things differently, don't? Do you know what happens when you finally decide that you're not going to accept empty excuses anymore? When you set clear boundaries and stop giving the benefit of the doubt to those who have already shown that they don't deserve it. That, my friend, is when the transformation begins. Because the power you have when you take a stand is enormous. You recover your self-esteem, your self-respect, your self-love. You stop being held hostage by false promises and start living for yourself, for your peace. And it's not easy. You have to have courage. You have to have heart. But the reward is liberating. Taking a stand is not about being cold or vengeful. It's about being wise. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about saying enough to those who only know how to repeat the same mistakes, and no to those who think that your love is a place to practice emotional dirty play. And you know what else? When you do this, you inspire those around you. You show that love is no excuse to accept what hurts, that love is respect, that love is change. And if you're out there, tired of accepting excuses without change, I want you to know that you're not alone. I'm here to remind you that you deserve more, much more. You deserve someone who, when they make a mistake, not only apologizes, but shows, in practice, that they want to be better, for you, for them, for everyone they love. So, if you're tired of this cycle, if you've realized that excuses without change are nothing more than a bad idea, I invite you to take an important step. Subscribe to the channel, because here we tell the truth, we don't accept bullshit, and we help each other awaken to a more real, healthier, fairer love. And of course, leave a comment telling your story and your opinion. Let's create a community that is not satisfied with emotional crumbs, that demands respect, transformation, and action. Subscribe, activate the bell, because there's a new video every week to help you open your eyes, strengthen your heart, and, most importantly, never accept excuses without change. Remember, you deserve more than words. You deserve actions.